How nations secretly plan global conflicts. There is a myth the public likes to believe, that wars begin with anger, with speeches, with sudden explosions on distant borders. They don't. Wars begin in silence. They begin in rooms without windows, rooms designed not for drama, but for calculation. Beneath the Pentagon, behind fortified walls near the Kremlin, inside secure compounds in Beijing, under government districts in London, there are chambers where the future is rehearsed long before it unfolds, and what happens inside them rarely makes headlines. The architecture of secrecy. A war room is not cinematic. No dramatic red phones, no shouting officers, at least not most days. Instead, it feels controlled, sterile, engineered for clarity. Digital maps stretch across entire walls. Real-time satellite feeds update every few seconds. Economic dashboards track oil flows, shipping routes, currency volatility. Cybersecurity monitors glow with streams of encrypted activity. Access requires biometric authentication. Devices are restricted. Even air circulation systems are isolated from the outside world. These rooms are designed for one purpose: decision-making under extreme uncertainty. They exist because modern conflict moves too fast for improvisation. War is modeled before it is fought. Long before a missile is launched, simulations have already played out thousands of times. During the Cold War, planners in Washington and Moscow ran nuclear exchange scenarios weekly. The doctrine of deterrence wasn't philosophical, it was mathematical. Analysts calculated blast radii, fallout patterns, second strike survivability. Today, simulations are more complex. Artificial intelligence models escalation chains. Algorithms predict market collapse timelines. Behavioral analysts estimate civilian unrest probability. If a shipping lane closes in the South China Sea, how many days until semiconductor prices spike? If a cyber attack hits a power grid, how quickly does panic spread on social media? If sanctions freeze sovereign reserves, how long until political instability erupts? The war room doesn't ask if something might happen. It asks, if it happens, how do we control the aftermath? The invisible battlefield. Modern war no longer begins with tanks. It begins with data. Inside strategic command centers, screens monitor trending narratives. Analysts track viral content patterns. Influence operations are mapped the same way troop movements once were. Information is now a domain of warfare. During recent conflicts in Eastern Europe, cyber units operated parallel to conventional forces, disrupting communications, targeting logistics software, shaping global narratives in real time. And manipulated image can destabilize markets. A coordinated bot network can amplify division. A leak, true or false, can alter diplomatic leverage. War rooms now house cyber strategists beside generals, because perception can weaken a nation before physical force is ever applied. Economic pressure as strategy. Sometimes the objective is not destruction, it is suffocation. Economic warfare has become one of the most powerful tools inside these rooms. Strategists identify dependencies, energy exports, rare earth minerals, semiconductor supply chains, food production networks. They calculate how sanctions ripple through global markets. They measure how inflation pressures foreign governments. They test scenarios where sovereign reserves are frozen. A modern war room includes economists who model collapse the way military planners model invasion. The question becomes, can we achieve strategic objectives without firing a shot? Increasingly, the answer is yes. Red lines and miscalculations. Every major power has capabilities the public only partially understands. Hypersonic weapons, anti-satellite systems, offensive cyber arsenals, autonomous drones. But inside the war room, the greater concern is not capability, it is misinterpretation. If a military exercise is misread as preparation for invasion, escalation begins. If radar data misidentifies an object, panic spreads. During the Cold War, there were documented false alarms, moments when automated systems indicated incoming nuclear strikes. Human officers chose not to retaliate. Those decisions prevented catastrophe. Inside war rooms, leaders must trust both technology and human judgment, while knowing both can fail. The night of decision. Imagine the scenario. 02:14 a.m. An alert appears. Unusual missile trajectory detected. Satellites reposition instantly. Radar systems cross-verify. Intelligence analysts scramble to confirm. Phones connect secure lines between capitals. For minutes, sometimes seconds, leaders must decide whether to respond. Retaliate too quickly, and you may escalate unnecessarily. Wait too long, and you risk vulnerability. These are not theoretical discussions. These are decisions made under pressure few humans will ever experience. And sometimes, history turns on restraint rather than aggression. Back channels and hidden diplomacy. Publicly, governments may appear hostile. Privately, communication never fully stops. War rooms coordinate quiet diplomacy, unofficial envoys, intelligence intermediaries, emergency hotlines. Even at the height of geopolitical tension, rival nations maintain some line of contact, because total silence is more dangerous than confrontation. The public sees press conferences and political rhetoric. The war room sees risk management. The civilian variable. No modern strategy ignores the population. Will citizens support military action? Will protests destabilize leadership? Will economic pain erode unity? Data analytics now measure public sentiment in real time. Predictive models assess how long morale can sustain pressure. Modern warfare blends psychology with logistics. Stability is as strategic as firepower. A nation that loses public cohesion can lose without being invaded. The illusion of precision. War rooms create the illusion of control. They quantify risk, they simulate outcomes, they assign probabilities. But history repeatedly demonstrates a brutal truth. No plan survives first contact with reality. Unexpected alliances form, supply chains break unpredictably, technology fails, human emotion overrides rational calculation. The more interconnected the world becomes, the more fragile the system. A localized conflict can ripple into global economic crisis within weeks. War rooms anticipate, but they cannot foresee everything. The ethical vacuum. Inside these rooms, decisions are stripped of sentiment. Projected casualties are numbers. Infrastructure damage is percentage loss. Human displacement is categorized as flow data. This clinical distance is necessary for clarity, but it creates a moral paradox. How do you weigh national security against human cost? How do you justify preemptive action? How do you decide which risk is acceptable? These questions are debated quietly, far from cameras, and often the public only sees the consequences. The future of war rooms. The next evolution is already underway. Artificial intelligence systems will increasingly assist in real-time threat assessment. Autonomous systems may recommend responses before human leaders fully analyze the situation. Quantum computing could accelerate strategic modeling beyond current comprehension. But the central tension will remain. Can machines be trusted with decisions that define civilization? Or must human judgment remain the final safeguard? Inside the war room of the future, that debate may become as critical as any missile system. The light that never turns off. When citizens sleep, the lights in these rooms remain on.
Analysts rotate shifts, algorithms continue scanning, satellites orbit silently overhead. Peace does not mean inactivity, it means preparation. Because in the modern world, conflict is not an event, it is a possibility being continuously modeled. The next time you hear about a sudden escalation, a sanction imposed overnight, a deployment announced at dawn, a cyber attack revealed in the morning news, remember, the decision was not sudden. It was debated in silence, modeled in detail, calculated in secrecy. Inside a room you will never see. And somewhere, right now, in a windowless chamber beneath the surface of global power,